Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we have the patch notes for 5.5 for you. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So starting at the top with the MSQ, we will be called Onto the Breach, and you can get this quest in the Rising Stones. Then moving on to Yorha Dark Apocalypse, name of the quest will be Konog Alone. You can pick this up in Kalusia at the Digside Chief. And on the Star of Werlyt, the first quest will be Duty in the Sky with Diamond, also again in the Locks with the Resistance Officer. Also, they added the quest to get your dragon after gathering all the Gwivers. It'll be called the Dragon Maid, and that quest will also be picked up at the Locks. And lastly, on the quests category, we still have the new custom delivery. The quest, you can count on it, that you can pick up on the firmament, and after you max out the satisfaction with the Charlemagne de Durandare, which would be the new NPC for the custom deliveries, you will have one called Those Who Serve, which you will be able to start at level 70. They adjusted the summoner quest to be second best, so if you already have it and you haven't completed, make sure to abandon it and get it right back so you have the new and improved. And they added new chapters to the new game plus. You got the Chronicle of the New Era quest, which is the Eden side story quest, Tales from the Shadows, and the Sorrow of Werlyt. So on the housing NFCs, they added a new exterior called the Blacksmith, which we talked after the PLL. Also for the voyages, they added new areas, more items, and the rank of the submersibles have been increased to level 90. As far as new furnishings, we have a new spirits cabinet. We got ourselves a new chandelier, and then a new blacksmith station, plus that TV screen that you see on the top left corner of this picture. Basically that picture is going to be moving. That's why they call it the TV screen. They added new orchestrum rolls, and there is some fixes to the list of the orchestrum rolls. And we get a new aquarium fish, which looks like a mega mouth shark. And last on the housing, we have new seeds for the flower pots. For the gold saucer, they added 5 brand new cards. The chance to get cards from NPCs that we defeat on our triple triad matches while trying to gather them cards out in the world have been increased. And they also adjusted the rules for the triple triad card decks. So now you will be able to include both 4 and 5 stars cards in a single deck. And in Mahjong, they added the option to abbreviate the names of the human players when you're having a match against them. 2 new hairstyles have been added to the game, mostly Nier inspired. The first one is for the female and the second one for the male. Okay, now with battle system changes. So the hot bars for the blue mages can now be saved, so you can have different setups for different kinds of situations. You will be able to save your skills and magic and swap between them. The target ring has finally been updated. Now you got a second set of arrows that will help you determine where the target is facing to help you with the positionals. The new dungeon Pagleton has been added, so you have a level requirement level 80, and you will have to be 490 or above to enter, and the way to access it is just following the MSQ. And now on for the new trial, which is called the Cloud Deck. So the first tier, which would be the normal tier, will require you to have a 495 or above, and it will be unlocked with Duty in the Sky with Diamond, and the Locks with the Resistance Officer. And then its extreme version, which will have an average item level of 510 or above. My apologies. You will have to, of course, complete the Fanatic in the Locks as level 80 Disciple of War Magic, and you will receive 1 totem per clear, which can be exchanged in Mordona. The new Unreal challenge will be World Leader or Leviathan for some of us. Level requirement, of course, will be 80. You will have to have an item level 430 or above, and you will be synced down from whatever item level you are to max at 435. If you have already unlocked Unreal, you will not need any requirements, but if you have not, you will have to complete the quest Fantastic Mr. Foe, which can be obtained in Idleshire, and the NPC will be Painful-ish Guardian Man. So on to lockouts and new items you can get. The first thing you need to know is that the Quiver of Light can now be purchased with 99 totems in Fatard and Yulmore. The drop rate of the same dragon that can be obtained organically from doing the fight has been increased. Not sure by how much. They have not released exact numbers. And the weekly restriction on Eden's Promise normal have been lifted, which means you can farm the 510 gear from the normal Eden raids as much as you want. Although the Blade of Antiquity lockout has not been removed, but they have reduced it from 7 to 4. So now to get your 520 Cryptlurker weapon, you'll only need 4 weeks instead of 7. The new Alliance raid dungeon, the Tower of Paradigm's Breach, has finally been added. The third and last dungeon raid in the Nier series. Also, you will have to be level 80. Your item level should be 495 minimum, and you'll have, of course, 24 players. The quest to access this new raid instance will be called Brave New World, and you can get it at the Puppet's Bunker with the Dig Site Chief. Remember, you will have to complete the Konog Alone quest first as a prerequisite to get the dungeon quest. Next, they have changed the items that will be on the treasure chests first in the copy factory, and now on screen will be a list of those items. And they also changed the list to the Puppet's Bunker. The list for those changes and what the items are now on screen. And as the last change, they will no longer be rewarding you with Stella clusters by completing the Puppet's Bunker. That reward has moved on to the new raid. And the completion rewards for the Paradigm's Breach, you will get 2 cracked Stella clusters and 1 Breach coin. The Breach coin can be exchanged with Fatard and Yulmore to increase or upgrade your Cryptlurker gear. So now that you have all 3 raids available, you will be able to work on your Cryptlurker gear from 520 to 530 by using the 24-man raids. Just bear in mind that the last one, the Paradigm's Breach, will be only 1 coin per week because it will be weekly locked, obviously. Okay, so for the Bojzan changes, the first thing we're going to notice here is we'll have sort of a new meter called Notoriety. Notoriety will be the new parameter that influences the player's choice of being selected to duel enemies. So if you do not get selected for a duel after a critical engagement, that will increase your Notoriety meter. What the higher the number is, the more likely is your chance to be selected to a duel after their respective critical engagement, which means that now you will have a much better shot of getting selected to that duel depending on your Notoriety meter. The only thing you must do is keep doing the critical engagements that lead to said duels and increase your Notoriety meter. Once that's high enough and you get selected, of course, the meter will go back to 0 and you'll have to start over again. It comes in response for feedback of the player community saying that it was actually kind of hard to get into a duel because if someone gets hit only once, their chances are completely ruined and they have to start all over. There have been adjustments to certain critical engagements as well. Trample under the hoof will no longer appear at the same time as Westro the Behemoth, and the Fire Wars will no longer appear at the same time as Patriot games, which means you don't have to choose. Now you can take advantage of the critical engagements in their full capacity without two showing up simultaneously. You can do one and then the other. Also, they have added the power of Echo if there is less players than the recommended number of players per critical engagement. And also they added Hubris, which will increase the damage the boss taken, and this is directly related to the number of players that are there to face this critical engagement. Also, they have made changes to the high morale buff. So before we had the buff would last for 30 minutes and you would get the 50% bonus of metal earned, and now the buff will be lasting 60 minutes and the bonus for the metal will be 100%. Now you will be able to get double the metal after you win a duel. They have adjusted the reward window for the critical engagements in the game, so yeah, they can show how many Bojzan coins you get after each one of those. The minimum requirement for players to be in the DR will be 24, that's a reduction from 48, but the maximum number of players will still be 48. The difference here is you don't have to wait for all 48 to get in. You can start at 24. So the items that you need to purchase to upgrade your Cryptlurker gear can now be obtained from the following vendors: Xylan de Crystarium, and the item required will be Sacks of Nuts, Ilfroy and Ilmore. Also using Sacks of Nuts you can get these items. And last Fatard from Ilmore, which you'll use manufactured coins, puppet coins, or breach coins to get those three items will be added to the game. Onto items and new recipes. So here we have a snapshot of what the gear from the new dungeon will look like, and right here the new glams that will be added. True crafting, we got the female glam, which looks like to be a sundress, and we get the dapper gentleman complete with the Indiana Jones hat looking, and this could be crafted instead of bought or acquired. So there will be 2 luxury traders added to the game. The first one is going to be Adelina, which will be in the northernmost point of the Mordona settlement. She looks like she's going to be side by side with Rowena. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the first floor or the second floor. And the second one will be Tabit, and she will be added to Yulmore. As you can see in the picture, she will be on the western side of the Grand Plaza, so make sure to check those guys out. And now with the change to the gathering as we see it. So before, when you're looking for an item, it would give you an area like the 80 Sins of Sasamo. But now, once you press to find an item on the world, it will give you an approximate area where the node is going to be. So in this case, as the picture we're seeing right here, the node can be located at any point on that blue area, which allows us to pinpoint faster and much better the nodes that we need. As for the fishing, now you'll have a new tool that will streamline the process of releasing fish that you don't need. So as you can see in the picture, you'll have 2 rows, normal quality and high quality. You can put the fish that you want to throw out immediately once you go to one of them fishing holes, but this also works with all the fish available on fishing holes, provided that you register them in the list beforehand, so you can pre-select which fish you want to keep and which fish you want to release back into the wild before you even hit that particular fishing hole. So now on to ocean fishing. You will be encountering dolphins and seagulls while you are out on your trip. Those two animals have three actually different buffs, and we'll start with the dolphins. The first buff will be called Cetaceous Speed and will increase your GP regeneration. The second buff that the dolphins can give you is called Auroral Flipper and increases your chance of triggering spectral currents. Now, in the case of the gulls, you will have a status called the Gull Storm, which increases your chance of catching an HQ fish and increase your overall fishing ability. And also on this patch, we will be introduced with the Fetes that can be undertaken by any disciple of the Hand or Lin, and the time remaining to each of these events will be on your screen, pretty much as the Fates on the firmament when it was being built was, as seen by the picture on the screen right now. The schedule in which these events appear, they are held 12 times over the course of a 24-hour period, with one every 2 hours. After the celebration is concluded, there will be a rest period or a cooldown period of 1 to 2 days in Earth time before we get another event. For completing the Fete will be two actually. One is going to be called the Fete Present, which will contain a random assortment of prizes, pretty much akin of the system that we currently have in Eureka and the Bojzan frontline with the lockboxes. And two, you will be awarded Fete tokens, which can be used to exchange for prizes on the NPC called Ini in the Firmament at 12/14. And the new items that can be exchanged is actually two mounts, which we will be putting on screen. One's a gazelle and one's a doe. On the topic of new mounts coming into the patch, we have the first one, which is the Mecha Dragon, which can be obtained after getting all the Gwibbers from this current expansion and trial. And we will have the new Chocobo Barding, which will be the Diamond Barding, that you can craft after obtaining the personal loot from the Diamond Weapon after completing the fight. And last but not least, new minions will be added to this patch, which will be a dolphin and a gull. Now on to some quality of life improvements here. First one, we're going to talk about the achievement rewards, which you don't have to go to Old Gridania anymore. You will have a button to unclaim your achievement rewards right on your achievement screen, which kind of like saves everybody a trip, am I right? And the second one would be on the filtering. You will now have a filter to see what kind of achievements you want to put up and prioritize to get them, and it will look something like this. Now moving on your Gpose, there will be new stickers added. There is a whole other mess of stickers right here. Two new subcommands will be added, the flip horizontal and the flip vertical. And then the categories that we will have after the patch drops will be homeworld, title, class and job, level, coordinates, and copyright. Also, they added text coloring, and text stickers can now be dragged and dropped directly into the screen using the cursor. So this is good news for people that use mouse and keyboard. Alright, you can also pull this off with the controller, but I'm sure you'll be a tiny bit more trickier. But apart from that, that's all good. Also, on the duty finder, you can now use limited duty finder, which means you can limit the duty finders to the lowest level member on your party. So the example that they put on the patch notes is for a party whose members are level 70, 72, 75, and 79, a duty ranging from level 63 to 70 will be chosen, which means all the duties that are below or at the same level as the lowest member in the party can show up on that roulette. So that way you can customize the leveling experience for the low level people even better, or for yourself. And if you want them on a specific bracket, you can do that now. And of course, they added the search function to your emotes. As you guys have noticed over the past few years, there's been a very large number of emotes added to the game, and it's starting to get a little bit of a hassle to manage them all. So the solution of the dev team was naturally come up with the search engine for our emotes, and it will be looking like something like this. As you can see on the screen, the window will be listing emote icons and their meanings have been added, and the emote details will now display to up to 4 text commands. And at the very bottom of these patch notes, of course, we have the open beta for PS5 version. So at the day of the patch drop, there will be the PS5 open beta version, where people that have a PS4 account and got a PS5 can upgrade for free, no additional cost, and you can try it out for yourself. And this open beta version will not be lasting long, as it's more of a field dressing a test, or more of a dress test right now than actually finding bugs, as the developers have reported. Most of those bugs have been ironed out. They just want to see how it works when tested by the community. And that is it for the patch notes, my friends. I hope this video helps. If you liked it, do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you like Final Fantasy XIV content, as we put all types of content up in this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, peace out.